Brewers week in review. Currently riding a 7-game winning streak. Coming into today. Today is August 9th. So game 2 coming up against the Mets in Milwaukee. But what's happened in the last week? A lot of winning. A lot of winning. Swept the Nationals convincingly. That was one of the better series I think we've had all year. I mean, you look at the box scores. That's easy to say, but it was it was dominant. It was exactly what you want to see out of a team who's hot. You don't want to see them play down to their opponent, and they did not. The Nationals stink. They do. They're a bad team that doesn't have a lot of talent, especially a lot of pitching talent, and the Brewers certainly made them look that way. The scores look a little closer than they had any right to in a couple games, leaving, guys out on the mound just because you're up by a lot. Like, I think in game 1, um, Easton McGee stayed out and was getting hit around a little bit, but the Brewers were up by so many runs that, let the guy finish the game. Don't waste an arm. So even, this 16-9 is a little misleading. In game 1 of that series, Contreras had his first career 5-hit game. You love to see that. I don't think that the Jansen move is really what's propelling his offense forward. I don't think it's much of a spark. I think the time off helped. I think getting a couple days to rest that finger over the break, I think that was good. But it's good to see him hitting. It's great to see him hitting, especially Churio down. They said 2 to 4 weeks at least. Knowing the franchise, I'm guessing that's going to be closer to the 4-week timetable, which takes him out for essentially all of August. Not what you want to see, especially when he was finally heating up. He was showing glimpses of the Churro we saw in the second half of last year. He was swinging less. He was making better decisions. He was putting the ball in play, hitting the ball hard. All the things you want to see. Playing good defense. So yeah, him going down is a big, big hit. But if guys like Blake Perkins are going to come back from injury, and just start hitting home runs every day, then I guess it doesn't really matter that Churio's hurt. And I think the star of the week is very clearly been Blake Perkins. I meant to pull up some stats here, but he has just been on an absolute tear. Power, speed, defense. I mean, we can talk about the throw that he had to save the game last night. Incredible. Let's see. He's currently got an 870 OPS, a 142 OPS plus. Granted, he's got 63 plate appearances in 2025, but man, just goes to show how infectious the hitting has been on this team. The offense is coming from everywhere. Bryce Terang is on a power streak this week. He had a multi-homer game. He had another one last night. Blake Perkins had a multi-homer game. He's just, let's see. He's got 63 plate appearances so far this year in 18 games. So he hasn't been around much, but he's got 16 hits in those 18 games. He's got 8 extra base hits already. He's got a 142 OPS plus. He's got the defense. Blake Perkins has been absolutely on fire since he came off of the IL, and it's exactly what this team needs. I was hoping coming into the season that we were going to be seeing the Garrett Mitchell breakout year. Fingers are still crossed for Garrett Mitchell going forward, but safe to say this hasn't been the year. He wasn't playing too well. Then he got hurt again, and I'm rooting for the guy. When he's right, he is so good. There's so much potential with Garrett Mitchell, but he just hasn't been able to string it together for a long period of time, And him going down was a real blow. You had to put Churio in center, which is what he played coming up in the minors, but he hadn't played a lot of it in the majors. He was good in the corners last year, so it's hard to move a guy like that, knowing what he provides in the corners. But he's been pretty good defensively. Not sure what the metrics say on that, but the eye test certainly makes him look good. He's had a couple big plays, had a couple bad plays, but that's to be expected of a guy who's playing a position like in the majors for the first time. Yeah, fielding run value is great on Churio. He's got +3 according to Baseball Savant. Um, so he's done a good job in center, but him going down and bringing in Blake Perkins has basically just been a plug and play. Perkins is switch hitting. I can't sing Blake Perkins praises enough. He's been an absolute lifesaver. He's been exactly what the team needed. Out of trying to look something up. Out of a guy who's taking over for Churio while he's hurt. Blake Perkins gets every award for this week. Star of the week. Game saver last night. Offense is coming along, and it's something that the Brewers have been doing all season, but they're getting it from everywhere, except for Joey Ortiz. But they're getting it from everywhere else. Like Caleb Durbin, since May, has been incredible. Bryce Durang started the season hot, slowed down for a bit. He's heating up again. He's already got 9 homers. He's got 3.6 BWAR on August 9th. So with a good, 60 games left in the season, 50 games left in the season, like Bryce Durang might have a 5 WAR season. He's currently got a 108 OPS plus from the guy that won the Platinum Glove last year in the National League. Like Bryce Durang has been outstanding. Like I said, Caleb Durbin has been amazing. So the Brewers are getting production from top to bottom. Nobody on this team has the 160 OPS plus. This isn't a 2019 Yelich season where he's hitting 40 homers and he's carrying the load offensively. This is just a well-balanced team. Caleb Durbin's got 2.3 WAR. His OPS plus is now up to 103, and that was with a terrible start to the season. He was awful for the first month or two, and ever since May, he's been amazing. He's been what Joey Ortiz was last year. That's what Caleb Durbin has provided this year over at third base. Joey Ortiz, man, he's back into positive WAR, but just a real letdown of a season so far. I don't know if Major League pitching caught up to him. I don't know if it's playing shortstop, and that's just been hard. I mean, he's played a good short. He run the base as well, but he's just not hitting. And he's flashed at times this year, but he is the only exception to the rule of the balance in the lineup. Like Joey Ortiz has been the only hole, and it's coming from a guy who's playing good shortstop defense. So do you want to see a guy with a 590 OPS running out to play the 6 every day? Not really. You don't. But for what this team has needed, Joey Ortiz has been completely serviceable. Because Andrew Vaughn is Jesus Christ. Contreras is heating up. Durbin's been great. Yelich has been healthy. The power numbers aren't maybe what we had hoped for coming into the season. You know, the back surgery finally happened. It seemed like he was finally going to be able to swing how he was swinging before. But he gives you good at bats. He's a professional. He's just steady. He's just steady. He's Christian Yelich, and he's a good baseball player. And that's just what the Brewers are. They're just a team of good baseball players on offense. Frelick has been fantastic. Every year, you get guys who come into spring training, and it's like, oh, so-and-so added 10, 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason, and, he's looking to really elevate the ball more and hit the ball harder. And, to be fair, Sal Frelick has more than doubled his career homer count this year. He's got 8 so far. But 8 homers from a guy who hit, 2 last season. Yeah, he had 2 homers last year, had an 85 OPS plus. This year he's got almost a 120 OPS plus. Batting average has been hovering around 300 all season. He's walking, and he's got the enough pop to keep you honest. Sal Frelick has been a fantastic player this year. He's still playing good defense in right field. Um, Sal Frelick has been amazing. Just there's not a single guy on the offensive side of the ball for the Brewers that you would say has been bad, other than Joey Ortiz. Everybody else is hovering around 100 to 120 in their OPS plus. They've all just been above average, and they're splitting the workload. It's fantastic, especially if you get Chourio to come back in September. If he keeps up his hitting, he's the guy that could have the ceiling. And we saw it in the postseason last year. I know it was only 3 games, but he was a star in those 3 games last year. And you need that. You need that in the postseason. You need a guy. Like, you need a guy who can come up and like raise the ceiling of a team offensively. Small ball is great. It's obviously working for the Brewers, but you need a guy who's going to come up and like be the hero. And I think Chourio has that in him. So if we get him back for September, if he's healthy, he stays hot going into the postseason. The offense has been the problem for the Brewers the last few seasons in the postseason, and I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem, other than Blake Perkins, who will cool off. If Blake Perkins ends this season with a 142 OPS plus, I will shave my head because he'll cool off. He'll come back down to earth. But everybody else, like, this is sustainable production, and it's great to see because although the team's hot right now, and they've done this before, they've been hot towards the end of the season, and then they have cooled off going into the playoffs, and then they lose in the first round. That's been the Brewers. It's been so frustrating. But this year, this is sustainable production. Like, none of these guys are lighting the world on fire, but they're all just playing good. They're just playing good baseball. And I think that's exactly what you would want to see out of this team. That was the argument coming into the year of like, well, nobody on the Brewers is going to win MVP this year, but everybody can be a good ball player. And they all have been. So no complaints about the Brewers offense. Obviously, they won in a couple different ways this week. They wiped the floor with the Nationals. They just hit and hit and hit and didn't let up. They played some good baseball games against the Braves, though. Like, they played close games, more postseason type games. I know the Braves have been bad this year, but you get a 3-1, a 7-2, a 5-4. Like those are close, competitive baseball games that the team is still winning. And then last night, obviously, you get the throw it to save the game from Perkins. You get the homer from Terang. It's just up and down this lineup. Everybody's playing well, and I don't see the offense cooling off in the way that it has in years past. I just don't. I think this week was big for my perception of this team going forward. Because it's not just a hot streak going into the break. It's not just a hot streak coming out of it. It's up and down. You lose 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. Who cares? Let's just win 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, and then let's win another 7 in a row after that. It's amazing what this team has been able to do offensively. It seems like every guy, other than maybe Contreras, who's been a bit below what you would have expected, every guy is hitting like an 80th or 90th percentile outcome for their season. Like, if you asked me coming into the year, what's the best case scenario for Sal Frelick, I would have said 120 OPS plus, a dozen homers, and another Gold Glove. That's kind of what we're on pace for. Bryce Terang, I would have said if he keeps 700 OPS and keeps playing good defense, steals some bases, Bryce Terang is going to have a 4.5 WAR season. It's exactly what we're seeing. Nowhere did I think Andrew Vaughn was going to come in and just start hitting every home run possible. But that's what he's doing. It looks good so far. I mean, he was so bad with the White Sox. So bad with the White Sox this year that seeing any kind of positive production is like a little bit concerning. Not concerning, but suspicious. But if you look at his baseball savant page, it seems sticky. Like it seems like other than his bat speed and his chase percentage, like everything else is exactly what you want to see. There's a lot of red on this page, and that's factoring in his terrible stint with the White Sox this year, like just atrocious. Um, so if Vaughn stays hot, if the rest of the lineup just keeps doing their job, doing what they're doing, this team can make some noise because I've talked for 15 minutes now and we haven't even touched the pitching. And just, wow. I mean, this was a weird year. We knew Woodruff was going to miss some time, and we didn't know what he was going to look like coming back. So far, so good on the Woodruff return, which is great because that's another instance where the ceiling of this team can really be raised. If you've got Woodruff, Peralta, and then theoretically Mizorowski as your 1-2-3 in a postseason series, I don't want to see that at all. Game 4, you can throw out some combination of Priester, Quintana, Logan Henderson, like just whoever you want basically in Game 4 is going to give you solid innings. But then you have the three-headed monster of just, like ace level pitchers at points in their careers. Like Brandon Woodruff before the shoulder stuff was an ace. He was as steady as they come. He was right up there with Burns at the time as like, a monster in the National League. And he's been great since he came back. The more you can get him stretched out going into the postseason, the better. If he can go deeper into games, that's a scary thing to see. Peralta has just been so consistent this year. He's not had like a crazy high ceiling, but he's had a really high floor. Like he's been good. He's ERA is hovering right around 3. He's thrown 130 innings already. Like Freddie Peralta has just been fantastic. He's been as steady as they come. Now Mizorowski's hurt. He's got the leg thing, and they say about 2 weeks. So the 15-day IL stint they gave him, that should be the end of it. We'll see. Hate to see a guy like that get hurt. He was one of the hottest pitchers in the league. Like gonna run away with National Rookie of the Year. So you don't like seeing a guy like that go down, but you're kind of glad it's a lower leg injury. Like it's not an arm concern. For a guy throwing 190 plus mile hour sliders, like with the amount of strain that you have to imagine is on his arm, I honestly, real injury or not, like rest him up, be safe with him, because I think the last thing you want if you're playing the Brewers in the postseason is to come out for Game 3 and here comes the rookie phenom who's going to shove 100 down your throat for 5 innings and then hand it off to Quinn Priester in long relief. Like, I hope he's going to be okay. Seems like he's going to be okay. They don't seem very concerned about it. It's great that it's not an arm thing, but just up and down this lineup and in the pitching staff, like I have no complaints, especially if Contreras heats up. No complaints. Joey Ortiz, if you keep playing good defense, I don't really care how you hit. I don't really care. Shelby Miller's back. So big trade deadline acquisition Shelby Miller is coming off of the IL. Great. Adds more length to their bullpen. He's got a 2 ERA this year. Got 40 strikeouts and 36 innings pitched. He's been fantastic so far with the Diamondbacks. Kind of interested to see what role they use him in. I would imagine that he's going to kind of serve the leverage, like swingman kind of thing. McGill kind of seems locked into the closer spot, and I don't know that they are going to go with like a traditional setup guy in the way Williams was for Hader back in the day. I think Shelby Miller is going to, because he's been in the league forever, I think he's just going to come in, you know, depending on the situation, to put out fires. Um, if you've got a guy on second and third, one out, you bring in Shelby Miller because he's going to find a way to get out of it. That's what I think. If they want to use him in the eighth inning before McGill, that's fantastic. I think he'll do a great job in that role. I think he'll provide quality innings. He'll stop the lineup. Like, I wouldn't want to see Shelby Miller into Trevor McGill eighth and ninth inning either, but I do think he's going to get more of like a leverage deployment. But I guess that remains to be seen. I think we'll probably see him in the game against the Mets tonight. So I kind of want to see how live that arm looks. But yeah, man, the turned into a bit of a rundown instead of a year in review, or week in review. But great week for the Brewers. Going forward, just super optimistic about the outlook of this team. Nobody is gonna completely crash from their current production, so it feels sustainable. It feels like this is the team that we've been waiting for years. Like, this feels like the one that actually has a chance to make some noise. Hope I'm not wrong.